Hey, everybody. This is Tell the Truth Sports Radio. I'm your host, Rod Fitch. I'm going to tell you the truth what happened this weekend. I nailed most of the picks, with the exception of the Charger game. They gifted the Dallas Cowboys that win. Got Auburn right, Alabama right. Told you I was going to be a close game. Uh, I got the Baltimore Ravens game right. We're going to start with that. Ravens and the Chiefs. And I wasn't sure if that pick six to start the game, but that Jackson threw. But then, you know, he comes right back. Lamar Jackson comes right back and they pound. They stay patient because they pounded the ball down down Kansas City's throat. That's a problem. Latavius Murray and Williams and Jackson. And one thing about Jackson is when he gets in the open field, he's not just fast. Because if he gets in open field, now he's running, he's faster than your corner and your safety. He's faster than your fastest guy. So the linebackers and linemen are almost nervous to try to get him down because they know if they miss, it could be a touchdown, long touchdown run, and you're on the highlight reel. So that he has that factor, and they just dialed up some tough running plays for Kansas City to deal with 7-7. But Kansas City was hard. They were on a roll, especially that screen pass to Travis Kelce. That was working all night long. They really did what they had to do. Demetrius Robinson catches a pass from Mahomes. And then Baltimore ties it up after a 9-play, 72-yard drive. And they were just gashing Kansas City with run after run after run after run. And when you get first and goal, Baltimore has the ball first and goal. With the way they scheme their running plays and the way Lamar Jackson can run, and then you got to make sure that he's not going to put the ball in the pocket of the running back in an RPO and then come back out and not run and throw the ball in the end zone where you're thinking run and you got tight ends and receivers wide open in the end zone. That's problematic. They got you at their mercy when it's first and goal. Now it's a lot of great splash plays. Some of the passing and their passing offense is still a little raggedy, but they'll make enough plays in the passing game to go along with their running game. Now, can you get to the Super Bowl like this? I'm not sure. But it was 21-17 because Kansas City came right back, and then Baltimore came back with a field goal, and Kansas City got the ball. And I said, Kansas City's getting the ball to kick off. They're going right down the field. They went right down the field, and Mahomes did what he did in 5 plays. Bing, 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 right down the field. Kelce was the main guy, and then Pringle catches a pass from Mahomes 40 yards. It's just the offense is running beautiful at this point in time. Here we go again. Kansas City's going to beat Baltimore again, but Baltimore, they stay patient. They just banged out another 75-yard drive. Hollywood Brown, nice 27-yard pass. And then Hollywood Brown, 42-yard pass. They hooked up well. They played well together. But then Kansas City did what they had to do. I think Mahomes knew my defense can't stop these guys. So they came right back down and scored. Baltimore came back down and scored. Missed a 2-point conversion. Kansas City got a little stagnant, just enough for Baltimore to 35-30. Kansas City knows they got to make it 42-30 to give them breathing room. They couldn't. They couldn't convert. I didn't like the play calling when they had the ball back. They had to punt the ball. So, Kansas City cannot stop Baltimore. So I know they're coming down for a touchdown. And they did. 14 plays, 8 up 8 minutes. They purposely did that, which was smart. 36-35 Baltimore did not convert in a 2-point conversion. Now, Chiefs have the ball with 1:54 left. And they're milking the clock. They got 3 timeouts. Everything's going well, except Hilaire gets stripped. And I thought that Kansas City, after the strip fumble, Baltimore recovers to win the game. I thought that they should have kept passing the ball to Kelce. Got a couple more first downs. They kicked the game when it field goal. I wouldn't even have took a chance on the run, but they did. And finally, Usually it's Baltimore that makes the mistake. Finally, it's Kansas City that makes the mistake, and Baltimore wins. And what I take out is Baltimore, they're going to fight. They're missing their corners. Well, their injuries are bad with their linemen and their corners, but they're going to fight. I know Lamar and their coaching staff, Wink Martindale and Greg Roman, they're going to dial up the plays that they need to dial up. They're going to get lit up a little bit in the secondary. I mean, there's certain teams that's just going to be not good matchups. Like if they play like the Raiders, the Chiefs was pretty bad, but the Chiefs defense was bad. The Chargers, if they can get out of their own way, there's certain teams that could be the Titans could be a problem with their Julio Jones and Brown. So there's different teams that could be problematic, but they're going to battle. They're going to be in it. I do like the Browns who beat the they didn't look super impressive. I think the Browns are probably going to win that division. And you look, Kelsey had 109 yards receiving. He was really good. But Hollywood Brown was good. Now 6 receptions for Baltimore, 113 yards. Andrews was good. Jackson rushing for 107 yards. That's about right. I mean, he threw for 239 and rushed for 107. That's kind of what Baltimore wants. Give me 239. I understand you threw a bad pick, but you overcame it. Give me 239, 107, 78 passing rating. And if I could play a little defense, that's a winning formula for Baltimore. Now, the next game was a game that was a gift, but it was kind of the Cowboys kind of earned it more than the Chiefs because they were more mistake-free. The Cowboys-Charger game, Chiefs. They're going to play the Chiefs. That's going to be a really good one. But they played the Chargers in SoFi Stadium in L.A., and the Cowboys came out smart because now Ezekiel Elliott's just an in-between tackle type of a runner that gets you 4 yards, 5 yards, short yardage. Pollard's the guy. That's the guy. He's the guy that gives you 30, 40 yards on the running game, which allows the Cowboys to be super dangerous with their RPOs with Dak Prescott throwing the ball to Cooper and CeeDee Lamb and their tight end and Gallup. And everybody eats off of the plate of that running game, and that gives the Cowboys balance. They were up 14-3. And I'm like, okay, Dallas is looking good, and they're going to run away. But I was thinking, I knew with the Chargers offense and the Cowboys secondary is not so great all the time. They were going to come back. Williams, 12-yard pass, 14-11. They blew an opportunity at the end of the half. They drove down the field. And it was just a mishmash. They wasted a lot of time. They could have scored a touchdown. They ended up with a field goal try that was missed by Tristan Ziccaino. Well, Ziccaino missed the field goal, and even the ones he made, didn't look good, and they didn't score. And when you're playing in a tight game, and you mess up the end of the half and not score any points when you're driving, you're gonna pay for that. But then they come back, they get a field goal in the third quarter that ties the score. And they could have they blew another opportunity to score. Dallas drives down the field, gets a field goal, 17-14. The Chargers drive down the field, and they get a touchdown that was called back because of an illegal shift penalty. It was costly. Actually, I want to go back. It was a bad interception by Herbert when they were driving for another score, which could have gave them a bigger lead. And it was a bad interception because nobody was in the vicinity except the safety. They overcame that. But they drove down the field at the end of the game in the fourth quarter. Should have got a touchdown. That would put a lot of pressure on the Cowboys. And what the Cowboys did was really smart because there's 3:54 left, and they knew if the ball goes back to Herbert, we can't stop Herbert. And they'll either score a game-winning touchdown or game-tying field goal. So we're going to methodically go down the field. 11 plays, 49 yards. The only problem is they almost were too methodical. Ezekiel Elliott here, little pass here, Cooper on a slant pattern, picked up a big first down. They ran the ball. They were very conservative. The only problem is they probably should have got a little closer. Now, Greg Zuerlein made a 56-yard field goal to win the game, but that could come back to bite the Cowboys. McCarthy does puzzling stuff. He got away with some puzzling moves, but the Chargers were worse. They were very mistake prone. The interception, bad clock management, touchdown taken away for illegal procedure penalty. But this is a good win for Dallas, and I'm going to tell you why. Dallas usually loses these kind of games. They're the team that gets the touchdown taken off the board, missing bad field goals like they did against Tampa. And they because of the pass rush, and Lawrence wasn't there, but Parsons looks unblockable. So they got pieces on defense. They got a great offense. And Dak Prescott doesn't throw interceptions. That's one thing you do like about him. That people say, oh, they're going to Super Bowl, oh, it's a Super Bowl team. This is a potential contender. I like the Rams to go to Super Bowl. The Cowboys have the talent to, but there is a mental and psychological and physical threshold that teams that lose in pressure situations have to get through. Any team that comes up short all the time in big games, and then they keep going back, they gotta figure out a way to get. There's got to be a game or a moment that gets you through. Pittsburgh had that problem in '95, and from the '90s on, all the way to 2005, they kept losing the AFC Championship games at home. They lost bad games, lost leads, got blown. It's any type of way they lost, they lost. Any type of way they can find a way they lose, they lost. The Colt game, they broke through the threshold when, after Jerome Bettis fumbled, Ben caught up to Harper, who's trying to run in for a game-winning touchdown. And when Pittsburgh got through, they went through hell and back to get that win in Indy against Peyton Manning. There was no way they were going to lose. They were going to beat Denver. They were going to beat Sal. They got through. The Cowboys have to have a get-through game to get to that point. Can they do it this year? We'll see. I like the Rams because I know McVay's been there. And then you got Stafford, who just looks great in this offense. They had a terrific goal line stand, which led to them winning against the Colts by 27-24. And it was a great goal line stand. I was very impressed with the Rams' victory in that game, 27-24. Aaron Donald was unblockable, going against one of the best linemen in football, and he was just dominant. The Bills, after Tua got hurt, the Bills destroyed the Dolphins. Josh Allen had 179 yards. Singletary ran well. Diggs was okay. So they did what they had to do. The Raiders beat the Steelers. And I told you, if this happens, the Raiders win. If that happens, the Steelers win. And the Steelers got some key injuries. Now, the Raiders had injuries, but the difference was the Raiders have more of an ability to overcome their injuries because Derek Carr is younger and better at this time than Ben, who's a little older, who needs everything to be right. And when TJ, Hayden, and Bush are out against Carr and Gruden, when I said that there's no way the Raiders are going to win the game, and they did what they had to do. They made one or two more plays than Pittsburgh did. You know the difference of the game? 3rd and 4, the Raiders convert. 3rd and 8, the Raiders convert a 65-yard touchdown to Ruggs. 3rd and 4, the Steelers don't convert. 4th and 4, the Steelers can't convert. No one can get open. And it's just the little things. It wasn't a blowout, but it was the little things the Raiders did well and the little things the Steelers couldn't do well. They didn't block as well. And the Raiders did what they had to do to give Carr enough time, especially with the injuries. But like I said, I would never use that as an excuse because of the fact that the Raiders lost. They were injured with their running back and their linemen, but they're just better equipped for that. And now they're undefeated. And now how bad was that Charger loss? They could have been 2-0 like the Raiders and Broncos, but now they're going to play an angry Chiefs team. They're going to go 1-2. They're going to Kansas City. They're going to lose. They could have they're going to be behind the hole now because the Broncos are better, the Raiders are better, and now you'll be 1-2 with all that good talent. Now you're playing from behind the rest of the season. Now, as far as the Raiders, I still need to see more out of them. I want to see them go up against the Chargers and the Chiefs, against good. Now, the Dolphins, I want to see if that's a letdown game because they should beat the Dolphins with Brissett. I think Brissett will play, but Brissett will have another week to practice and play because he'll probably be the quarterback with 2 out. But you're going to Vegas. We'll see. I want to see how good you are when you're prosperous because I've seen the Raiders win big games and then just shut it down for a couple of weeks. But they can't do that because that division is so good. The Raiders games with the Chiefs, the Raiders, the Chargers, Broncos, those division games will decide who wins the division because the Chiefs have come back to the pack with that lousy defense. That defense is putrid. The Honey Badger and Jones, and sometimes Sorensen, and that's it. Everybody else is suspect. They get beat up. They get ran on with ease. They get moved on up and down the field. I understand the Browns and the Ravens have good running offenses, and they pass the ball pretty good, but come on. Derek Carr's going to light them up. Hubert's going to light them up, but they're going to lose. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but the Chiefs will figure out a way. Mahomes knows he's got to score a lot of points. And the Chiefs will win in an old-fashioned AFL shootout. Now, the other game I was wrong about because I picked the Seahawks to beat the Titans in a close game because the Seahawks were home. If it was in Tennessee, I'd have picked Tennessee. Seahawks did what they had to do. I mean, come on. They had 24-9. And I'm thinking, all right, 24-9. Looks like my prediction is going to be right. After Carson 1-yard run, and they're moving the ball well, and Russ is cooking because he was really on fire. But in the third quarter, at halftime, Vrabel said, I don't care how far we're down. We are going to give the ball. We're going to give the ball Derrick Henry, and I don't care what happens. And they will pass off of the running plays. And they just gave him the ball. They fed him. He had a 9-yard run to make it 24-16. Seattle comes back. Fred Swain, 68-yard pass to Russell Wilson, fourth quarter. All right, they're home. They got the lead. Now Tennessee's not passing the ball well, but they're running well. Will Tennessee stay patient? They did stay patient. Derrick Henry had a 60-yard run because this is the thing. You can stay patient because Derrick Henry will keep running and running and running to you. He's so big and strong and fast that you can get tired. And what Derrick Henry can do, even if you're backed up at the 20-yard line, you can hand the ball to Derrick Henry. He can go 80 yards. That's one play. You're back in the game with time to spare, with room to spare. And that's what happened. And then the fourth quarter, neither team moved the ball. There's one time Tennessee had a 4th and 2, and they didn't get the ball. Derrick Henry was just stupid, and it messed up. I thought that was going to cost them, but Seattle couldn't do it. Seattle got really, really sloppy and raggedy toward the end. They punted the ball. Tennessee got patient. They 12 plays, 68 yards. You know when they get to the goal line, the 1-yard line, that's a wrap. It's a wrap. They scored. Derrick Henry. Now, this was big because Jason Myers, I thought about Jason Myers missed extra point to only make it 30-16, gave them, it was a 2-touchdown instead of 2 touchdowns at a 2-point conversion, which they still could have made, tied the game up. And then went to overtime, and Seattle got the ball, did nothing. Russell Wilson almost got a safety because they didn't even block for him. And then the Titans came down 5 plays, 21 yards, and Bullock hits a game-winning field goal. That's a big, healthy win for the mental health of the Titans because that beat down the Cardinals game was bad. But that was a good win for the Titans. So I'm going to look at the Titans there because I was wondering about them. But now that's good because now they found themselves. So they're in the mix. Everybody in the AFC is suspect. I'm not sure about the Raiders. The Broncos with Bridgewater, that's good. The Steelers got injuries every year. There's always key guys getting injured. But if they come back healthy, they're in the mix with Baltimore and Cleveland. They're all New England, even though I'm not crazy about having a rookie quarterback, they're running the ball all the time. They're not beating Buffalo, period. Buffalo and the Dolphins are going to be a contender. I mean, a playoff contender. Super Bowl contender is more like the Bills and I want to say the Chiefs and the Browns. I got to see because I want to wait till about 8 games in. And then that gives me a gauge. And we'll see who separates themselves. We'll see who's healthy. You got to be healthy. If you're not healthy, you're not going to win anything. And that's the key. And as far as the NFC is concerned, the Redskins and the Cowboys are going to battle for the division. The NFC West is ridiculously good with Seattle and the Rams and the Niners and the Cardinals who won a game they shouldn't have won. There. Charlie Brownish Minnesota Vikings missing a 33-yard field goal. And then you have, I don't love anyone in the AFC North. Green Bay's okay. Aaron Rodgers is all-time great, but I'm not crazy about their chemistry. They'll win. They should win tonight, Monday night. We'll see. I thought the Saints got beat down 26-7. Carolina's 2-0. Well, but I'm not sold on that yet. We'll see. I think the Saints will get themselves together this early. And with Tampa, I don't like their secondary. They were getting lit up by the Falcons. I don't like their secondary. Their secondary is going to be the reason they're not going back to the Super Bowl. Their corners hold and they can't cover. They can cover when they hold, but they hold all the time. They can't always get to the quarterback. So I think if the Cowboys saw the Buccaneers again, the Cowboys would beat them. I just like the Rams. I love McVay now that he has Stafford. That was a nice weekend in college football. Real nice weekend in college football. Alabama and Florida. I told you Alabama was going to make it close. I told you guys this. Florida's going to make it close. It was a good game. Alabama goes out. And this is what I love about Alabama on the road. They are very good when they play in a hostile environment to get the ball and score, get the lead, get a couple scores, settle in, and then take over and take you out. Now, they're right on schedule, 21-3. They're moving the ball. Billingsley catches the ball. Robinson Jr., 7-yard pass. He played good. So everything's on schedule. But Florida did something. And Dan Mullen is kind of found a formula to Alabama's defense. Because last year in the SEC championship, they scored a lot. But they had leak. But Malik Davis, 26-yard run. They were gashing them. They were passing the ball. They were running the ball. Emory Jones played almost like the role of Cam Newton. I don't want to say he's Cam Newton, but he was outstanding with his running and his passing and just throwing Alabama off balance. So they score. Again, Damon Pierce, 3-yard run after a gashing 10-play, 75-yard drive, 21-16 now. But I said, I'm going to see Alabama's usually good at answering. They did. 13-play, 75-yard drive. Brian Robinson Jr. with a 3-yard run. But I'm going to tell you something. There was a play on second down near in the red zone where Bryce Young threw a ball that Cox dropped, their linebacker. If he catches that interception, Florida probably wins the game. That was the biggest play in the game. It was an easy thrown over the middle. There was one time Young got caught not knowing what the coverage was. He didn't see Cox. The ball's thrown in the middle of the field. Cox drops a surefire interception. And Alabama, you don't do that with Alabama. And they got the ball. They settled in and they ended up scoring. Then they ruined the kickoff. So the ball is at the 1-yard line. I'm like, Alabama, if Alabama gets and they even say Alabama gets to stop here, they'll get the short field. This game's over. Florida gets a first down on third down. I don't know. For some reason, I said Florida's going to score. They're going 99. They're going to score. And they did. 99, 11 plays, running and passing and running and gashing them. And I bragged about Alabama's front seven being super gap disciplined. They did not have that. The linebackers were missing their gaps. They were missing, and they're getting chunk yardage when it came to running. Emory Jones finally gets a 5-yard run. Now we're going to the fourth quarter, 28-23. Okay, now, oh boy, Alabama better score again. They better make it 35-23, and then maybe they'll be okay. Alabama drove right down the field, 14 plays. They take up 6 minutes. They're in good position. They failed to score in the red zone. They got toward the one and could not get it in. Normally they do. They did not. Florida stopped them. They kicked the field goal. When they got stopped them on third down, I said, uh-oh. I said, Florida's going to come back down the field. Alabama couldn't stop them. So I said, Florida could tie the score up. Florida went down the field and scored. And then they ran everybody, just like everybody said, the stupidest 2-point conversion. I would have had Emory Jones running in. I did a fake RPO, let him run, pass option. If it's not there, throw the ball in the end zone to maybe your tight end, or you just run it in with your strength. But he didn't. And Alabama was able to run the clock out pretty much basically after that, and they ended up squeaking out a win. But I was surprised that Florida. I understood Emory Jones 195 yards and 1 interception. You could live with that. But 245 yards on the ground, Malik Davis 86, Jones, the quarterback, at 77. When a quarterback has 77 and 195 passing, and your other running backs get 100 yards, you had a rough day. Now, I can tell you, I'm in love with Jamison Williams to transfer from Ohio State. I don't know what was wrong with Ohio State. Let this guy go. He had 4 yards for 61 yards catching, and he played great. And they did what they had to do. Bryce Young in the swamp against a very good Florida defense, who may beat Georgia, by the way. Miami may have to, Alabama may have to play Florida again. If Florida can take care of business and get through the East is a lot easier than the West. My gosh. If that occurs and Florida ends up, and I'm going to tell you something, if Florida ends up taking care of business, that could be tough. But I love Emory Jones, and they may stay with Emory Jones. They may stay with Emory Jones, and that could be big. I know AR-15 is locked and loaded. They may go to him, but they may just stay with what worked. That worked for me. I mean, goodness gracious. I love how that went, But Alabama's got a much tougher road. They got to go play Ole Miss. Ole Miss will be the toughest game at home. Tougher than A&M. I don't trust A&M's quarterback. Arkansas is going to be pretty tough, but that's at home. Auburn with Nix, because Auburn historically has given Alabama trouble. That could be problematic. The biggest game is Ole Miss, because Lane Kiffin knows the system, and they got a Heisman Trophy winner. They have the type of quarterback that's always give Alabama trouble. He's a veteran quarterback, Matt Corral, who probably could win the Heisman. He's accountable for 7 touchdowns so far, playing really, really, really well. 5 TDs on the pass, 2 on the run. Just outrageously playing at a high level. 189 QB rating. Hello, that's really good. But now they got some tough games coming up, including Alabama in 2 weeks, which I can't wait. And that'll be good. Nick Saban talked after the game like they had lost. He is going to be all over that team. That's the thing I love about Alabama. They're always hungry. Even after a win, if it's not good enough, he'll let them know, and they will always stay hungry. They better, because I that's the game. A&M and College Station, yeah, okay, that's tough because they can play defense, but that's Florida and Georgia. It's all about Florida and Georgia. I don't think any other teams in the East are going to be able to compete with Florida or Georgia. That the biggest cocktail in America in Jacksonville when they play each other. Woo! That's a great game. Now Auburn and Penn State. Penn State won 28-20, but I'm gonna tell you something. At the end of the day, with Penn State leading 14-10, it was back and forth, but Penn State, Sean Clifford was a little better because Nix was good. At times he was hit. A lot of times he's hit. Sometimes he was missed. But that double reverse that Auburn tried before to start the third quarter sunk Auburn. That was the biggest play that ruined them. Just like that drop interception by Florida, you can always look at one play that cost. It was a costless play. Gave them the short field. They fumble the ball at their own 20, and Penn State takes it in to make it 21-10. Auburn comes back with 2 field goals, and then Penn State, it was a money drive. Third down conversions, Noah Cain 3-yard run. Clifford was outstanding. They took up 4 minutes and 7 seconds. And the Auburn was driving for the game-winning score, and Nix threw a high fade, which the receiver didn't see enough. He lost the ball. It was a bad play. He was open. That could have been a touchdown. He missed that. And then they got to the goal line, and Penn State made yet another goal line stand. And I knew Penn State was going to win in a close game. I like Penn State as the best team so far in the Big Ten. Okay, I know Ohio State's explosive, and Ohio State's capable of beating them up in Ohio State, but I like Penn State. I love their front seven. I love Porter as a cornerback. Joey Porter's son is good. Clifford is solid. They run the ball well. They play physical. Iowa and Penn State. I literally cannot wait for that game because Iowa's looking really good. They beat a pretty good pretty good Iowa State team. Iowa, 30-7 over Kent State. Yeah, it's Kent State, but Cincinnati beat Indiana, and it was a kick return that won it. That was a really good game. Cincinnati, are they a threat? They could go into Notre Dame and beat Notre Dame. Notre Dame has been underwhelming to me. And Notre Dame goes to Wisconsin. That's a dangerous game. That's a game you could get sent home on an L. That 12 o'clock game, that's going to be a pretty good game in Madison, Wisconsin. But I look at Penn State, and they got Iowa the 9th of October. Oh, man, I like that. Then Ohio State the 30th. And then Michigan at home, who's playing a little better. At Michigan State, now that's a tough game because Michigan State beat the mess out of the Miami Hurricanes. And Miami, I thought they would be better than they are. And I'm going to tell you something. Clemson got no chance to get in. They barely beat Georgia Tech. They're underwhelming. I can see North Carolina beating Clemson. No one in the ACC is making it. And if Oklahoma loses to West Virginia, Oklahoma barely beat Nebraska at home. They're underwhelming. You might not even see a Big 12 team make it. I know SEC champ is going to make it. Maybe a SEC West second place team may make it. Big 10 team is definitely going to make it with Iowa, and Ohio State, and Penn State, and Michigan State all good. So they're a lot better. And then we got to see what Cincinnati and Notre Dame's going to do. But UCLA, I had high hopes for the Pac-12. Oregon is the team. I believe in my heart, if Oregon goes to UCLA and wins, Oregon is going to be in the playoffs. But Cristobal has those kids playing at a high level with that Alabama style of play, and it's working in the Pac-12. I know Fresno State's pretty good, but man, I want to see UCLA run the table, but they didn't. They lost to Fresno State at home, and then BYU beat Arizona State. And Arizona State may have some scandals coming up. I'm hoping everything works well with Herm Edwards, but I'm hearing not so good things about potential off the field stuff. And BYU just keeps rolling. All right, now finally the Major League Baseball report. I think what's fascinating in the American League is Boston and Toronto. I think they're going to be the two teams that are going to be the wild card teams. The Yankees are two out. I don't. They're done as far as I'm concerned. I don't. They're too inconsistent for me to put them in this conversation. I got to look at what's reality. I would like listen. I root for the Yankees to get in there, but I can't. I mean, this show's called Tell the Truth Sports Radio. I got to tell the truth. They're probably not going to make it. It's a shame because you got LeMahieu, Rizzo, Aaron Judge, and Stanton. The first five, and then Gallo and Sanchez. Those six, that's your lineup. But you can't. You get blown out and almost shut out by a lousy pitcher from Cleveland. That's ridiculous. So that's enough is enough for that. But I'm looking at Boston's schedule, and it works out perfect. They had the Mets for 2 games. I would expect them to probably win those 2. They should win 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. And then they got 3 with Baltimore and 3 with Washington. So I would expect the Toronto Blue Jays to have to go into Fenway to win that first game, because I look at the Blue Jays schedule. The back end is easy. The front end, you got 3 with Tampa. That's where Boston's going to make hay. That's where Boston could put enough distance with Boston's easier schedule, because it's they're game up on Toronto. So that's the key. And then Toronto has the Yankees at home. I expect them to at least get 2 out of 3. And then they should sweep Baltimore. Baltimore's going to get beat up. They don't have the Yankees on their schedule no more, and they're going to get beat up by Toronto and Boston. But the 4 Minnesota, you figure Minnesota might get 1. Toronto's got Toronto's got to get in. And I wouldn't hold my breath, but they have to hope the Mets or Yankees beat up Boston so they could get that game at the Rogers Center. But I can't see that happening. As far as the National League, the Cardinals went 9-1. The Cardinals put distance on the Phillies, and they swept the Padres, and I don't trust any of the pieces. The Mets took a whole week off after the 9-11 win versus the Yankees, where they celebrated and they wanted to fight the Yankees, and they were just rubbing it in and having a good old time, but they forgot that, you got to play the rest of the season, and they took the week off, getting beat up by the Cardinals, getting swept by the Phillies, about to get swept by the Phillies until they won the last game. So they're done because they got Boston, and Boston needs to get in the playoffs, so that's not going to happen. I think it's going to be the Dodgers are game out. The Dodgers' only hope is to be even toward the end. If it's the Giants a game up with 3 left, the Giants are going to win the division. If you're the Cardinals, you've had success with the Dodgers, but the Dodgers are the Cardinals. And the Cardinals never, ever, ever, ever beat the San Francisco Giants. One time in '87, but every time the Giants play Cardinals, I know without a doubt the Giants are going to beat them, no matter who's on the team. But the Dodger Giant, that's going to go back and forth. But I like the Cardinals as far as the wild card. That was a big series sweeping the Padres.